This episode is brought to you by SPI Logistics, the premier freight agent logistics firm in North America. For over 40 years, SPI has been diligently building the most successful freight agent network to provide first-class relationships for our shippers, receivers, and carrier partners. We are more than another transportation network. We are a dedicated team of professionals united by one singular purpose, and that is to expedite our agents' success. All of our agents are set up for success on day one, as they are provided with a full suite of support staff that is ready to assist them with everything from after-hours emergencies to financial and administrative needs on a no-fee basis. This way, you can focus on continuing to grow your business. There is no financial risk to start, and you have the ability to earn up to 75% in commissions. If you are looking to take control of your financial future and build your business with the backing of one of the most successful logistics firms in North America, visit www.spi3pl.com to learn more. Do me a favor and let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. Hey guys, before we jump into the episode, I wanted to let you know it is brought to you by Revenova, the official TMS provider for the Freight Coach. You guys, I've been a broker for a long time, and the tools that are at your disposal with Revenova help you eliminate bouncing between systems, which improves your accuracy when you are managing multiple tasks throughout your workday. Plus, it's built into the Salesforce cloud, so your CRM is fully integrated with your TMS, eliminating yet another silo. In today's day and age, you are definitely concerned about the safety of your data. With Revenova, it's fully protected. They have cutting-edge security that keeps your information safe so you can focus on what matters most, and that's growing your business. Speaking of growing your business, with Rate and Lane IQ, you get real-time pricing and route recommendations, helping you optimize costs and improve operational efficiencies, which ultimately helps you make smarter decisions. If you are like me and have recurring shipments from non-EDI customers, they have intuitive cloning features that let you easily replicate previous shipments, saving both shipper and carrier rates with just a few taps. If you are ready to learn more, visit www.revenova.com to request a demo. Just do me a favor and let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Podcast, the top podcast in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines. But most importantly, you guys provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And I do say that before every single show. And what I mean by that is I only speak with transportation professionals, because at the end of the day, you guys, I want to talk to the right individuals who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve, so you can take that information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I got a solo show today on this, but before we get into anything, my team always likes me to remind everybody, if you get value in what you hear here today, subscribe to the show, you guys, if you're not already subscribed. And if you're feeling really ambitious after this one, rank the show on iTunes and Spotify, because that's how your network's going to see value. And if you see it, chances are they're going to see it as well. One more thing, we do have our weekly newsletter. It drops tomorrow. I do need you guys to go down to thefreightcoach.com, though, to register for that. I don't auto-sign people up for anything. I never will, because if you want to get it, I want you to receive it. If you don't, just hit the unsubscribe button. And if you're getting annoyed by it, out of the once a week, and no harm, no foul, you guys. At the end of the day, I just want to add value out there in the areas that I can. Corey Buchan, happy Taco Tuesday to you as well, my friend. And so with that being said, you guys, obviously, I'm going to be talking about some of the biggest stories that are kind of in the industry right now. I normally don't talk about too much politics on this show. I like to keep it as trucking specific as possible, and this one is all over the news. We're all very aware of that video that had happened out there with the driver in Florida, and Harjinder Singh was his name out there. You guys have all seen the video, I'm sure, at this point. But you know, there's been a lot of I think premature celebration on what the administration kind of posted out there on pausing the visas and stuff like that, and thinking that this was going to somehow fix everything. And you know, to me, this is one of those situations that it's been brewing for a very, very, very long time. Anybody who's been in this industry for longer than 5 minutes understands where we're at as an industry and kind of what's going on out there. But, and there's a lot of emotional reactions to this, right? Like I'm not surprised at some of the just absolute visceral things that I see on the internet. It's wild to me that this is out there by some people, but it is what it is. Nothing really surprises me. I've been in the social media game and podcasting game for 5 years now. I've seen a lot of crap, and I let a lot of it go in one ear and out the other. But why I choose to wait to talk about a lot of these hot button issues that come out is I like to see more facts come out about it. And, the whole non-domiciled CDL holders being the issue and all of this stuff out there being the issue. It's might not be as what it seems out there. And this is, again, based on the information, all the information that I find on this show for the show, you guys, it's all public, right? And a lot of the articles that I break down, I put the links out there for you that my team and I find. So like, you don't even have to Google anything. You can just literally click on the links in the show notes out there. But I look at what I see as this is one of those situations that is not going to go away at all unless they somehow come up with a trucker island out there and they've come up with some flight logs. Then the current administration will just sweep that under the rug and we'll never hear about this stuff ever again. But outside of that, though, this isn't me coming at it blaming Secretary Duffy. I'm not even blaming Secretary Buttigieg of the former transportation secretary out there. This stuff has been going on for a very long time. But I will say that it is solely on the current administration and Secretary Duffy to fix this, right? Because tweets, in my opinion, and again, everybody was celebrating Rubio tweeting that out, that they're pausing this stuff. Saying it and not following up with any action is very synonymous with how our government works. And in my honest opinion, I hope something's done, but my faith in something actually being done is very, very small. So although it's nice to see it, there is a lot of stuff that needs to happen after the fact to actually show me as an individual, as somebody who likes to critically think about things, that there's going to be actual change. I don't celebrate any one political party out there over the other. I believe in the Constitution of the United States and the rights that are granted to me as a citizen of this country. And I don't care. I call balls and strikes on this show. And from what I see out there, again, it's cool to see a first step out there. But if nothing changes, you guys, we're way too much prematurely celebrating something. And that is where my initial reaction is. I think too many people are celebrating that this is going to somehow fix the industry and do all of that. But it's not, right? Like at the end of the day, you guys, fundamentally, pausing visas does not make you a better business owner. Pausing visas does not make you all of a sudden know how to run your business in a profitable manner if you can't do it right now. But, so I want to get into some of this because I see this, obviously I have stated on this show numerous times with the ELP, the English language proficiency, that you 1000% should be able to read the road signs, read in English, speak in English if you are going to operate on the freeway. I don't care if it's a fucking motorized ice cream cart and you need a license for that. You should be able to follow those simple guidelines. And I say that because myself as a citizen, I have to be able to do that. So why are there any special exceptions that are out there? And that is what comes down to it for me is the special exceptions that are seemingly happening out there. And I have said this numerous times on the show when it comes to the ELP, and an article was just released out there about this, that this will 100% follow party lines out there. As much as I've seen posts that this shouldn't be a political issue, everything's a political issue at this point. And it boils down to the enforcement. So I'm going to cut to the chase, and I'm going to 100% solely place the blame on the FMCSA and the DOT for where we are at today, and a sole lack of their ability to actually do their jobs. Okay. Like I said, I'm not blaming Secretary Duffy, but it is his job to fix this. All right. Talk is cheap. I am so sick and tired of seeing all this talk, tweet this, post this, and nothing actually happened from it. Okay. So that if you don't want to listen to the rest of the episode, that's fine. That's where I'm going to summarize it and say the only way this goes away is if they find an island out there and they can just sweep it under the rug and say it's all a hoax. Or B, at the end of the day, I solely blame the FMCSA and the DOT for allowing this to happen. So with that being said, you guys, visa holders out there, because that's a big thing that they're saying that visa holders are ruining the trucking industry. As long as they are following the law and paying taxes and following the exact same guidelines that I have to face and follow as a business owner and citizen of this country, I have zero problems with that, as long as they're doing it that way. And if you look at the actual numbers, and again, these are all guesstimates at the end of the day that the government released. All of this information is out there, you guys. There's anywhere between 60 and 90,000 non-domiciled CDL holders that are out here on the roads right now. So again, you can probably inflate or deflate that in any direction that you want out there, but not all of them are doing things wrong. All right. Again, I've been doing this job for a very, very, very long time. All of the people that are like a lot of the talking points out there right now have been in the very rare minority that I have come across a driver who cannot speak the language at all. And again, like I jokingly say, I've only moved like 3 truckloads in my career. I'm not joking when I say I've moved tens, if not 20s of thousands of truckloads in my career. And it is a very rare instance that you come across this, and the data backs this up. All right. So if you look at that, there's between 60 and 90,000 non-domiciled CDL drivers compared to the total sample set of data that is out there is anywhere between, it's about 3 million CDL drivers that are on the road right now at any given moment. So if we look at that again, I went to public school, you guys, that's like 1% to 2% of the drivers. So even if they removed all of them from that to these points of these guys who are out there saying, oh, we need to get rid of all these drivers because they're the ones who are ruining the industry, that is inherently an extremely ignorant and false statement. All right. Because if you removed 60,000 trucks from the road, no one's going to notice. All right. No more freight is going to pop up there. That is not going to cause any ripple in the industry. Could there be some pockets? Yes. But if we're looking at the total as a whole, that is not going to make a difference in the market at all. All right. So those ones who are saying that that's the problem, you are wrong. 99%, and I am not over exaggerating this, 99% of the drivers and the trucking companies that I, as a freight broker, have come across in my career are phenomenal individuals. They are working hard. They are doing the right thing. And that's that. And if whether they're here on a visa, whether they're a permanent resident or a citizen of the United States of America, that is the overwhelming majority of this industry. And again, the data backs this up. All right. So in regards to whether they, because I went further, like, do they have to follow the same tax structure and everything that I do here? And what I found was shocking. If they're doing the right thing, they are paying state taxes, federal taxes, and everything as a visa holder. Okay. Again, all of this information is publicly, guys. You guys can question everything I fucking say. But if you just do this little thing called use Google or Grok or Chat GPT, they will summarize it all for you and spit it all out in a nice detailed list, okay? Because most people, and again, this is just what I've learned in the social media world, will read a topic sentence headline, and that's the only research that they'll do out there. All right, that's as far as they will go with it. Now, another thing that I saw out there, how all of these drivers are apparently causing all the accidents. In 2024, there was no actual registered data point that says that out of all the 5,297 traffic deaths that were caused with a vehicle that was a CDL, it did not list if there was any non-domiciled CDL drivers behind the wheel. Hell, out of that data that's publicly available, it doesn't even list if the truck driver was at fault in that accident. All right. So that statement alone is so fucking ignorant. It boggles my mind that that is one of the main talking points out there that you see on social media. Now, the next one, and again, to all of those keyboard warriors who are now all of a sudden trying to be trucking experts that couldn't even tell you how many wheels are on an actual truck and trailer, there is no driver shortage. All right. That narrative has been played out for years. There is no driver shortage. I don't even think there's ever been a driver shortage that is out there. And so, no, this is not going to impact anything in regards to the like a perceived driver shortage, because there isn't one at the end of the day. Now, with that being said, all right, so we talked about that, the driver shortage. There is no driver shortage out there. Pausing this, so that's not gonna. All right, so now I want to talk about like what some of these like with the FMCSA, because when I look at this accident that happened out there, I know that the next talking point is like, how are all of these people donating and signing this petition and all of this stuff that's going on out there? How do you not expect that to happen? All right, like of course that's going to happen. That doesn't bother me at all. It is what it is, you guys. But I look at this as, again, how did this individual, because the reports that were listed out there is that he failed the ELP and he failed the basic CDL test that was given to him out there. All right. So if we're looking at this, how was he even there? And I just talked about this. It was either last week or the week before that. Again, there's people that, the drivers that are out here who, whether they hold a non-domiciled CDL or not, that are getting the brunt of the blame for this. I think we need to take it back a step further, right? Who is the one that is issuing them the CDL? All right. How are that entity able to issue CDLs, whether it's the CDL school, the DMV in specific states that are out there? What are the actual qualifications and criteria? And again, there's always going to be some form of fraud. There's always going to be some form of, here's some cash under the table, just give me this and everything out there. But again, who hires these guys? All right. So there are, is the driver at fault in the majority of, yes, because they're the ones who are operating the vehicle behind the wheel. But I feel like that's the end result of a bunch of systematic failures that allowed that individual to even be behind the wheel. All right. So again, if you're here on a visa and you pass everything and you're doing it the right way, more power to you. That's what this is for, right? There's plenty of work visas in multiple verticals and industries that are out there that a lot of great people come work and do their thing at. That doesn't bother me at all. But again, we're overlooking the actual problem here, you guys, and you're just placing blame because of, again, the headlines and the tweets that are out there. So, obviously they had put this out there. So this article and these articles, you guys, are, I think the some of the best ones that I've seen talking about this. And they're both from overdriveonline.com. And they're both written by Alex Lockey. So if you guys want to check out his writing on this stuff, you guys, I would highly recommend you go out there and check these articles out. So the first one is it's on the State Department pauses the driving visas. Who isn't impacted? The focus on safety and labor concerns mirrors what Overdrive readers said loudly and clearly in April. A majority of American truck drivers object to foreign drivers' ability to obtain U.S. CDLs on safety and economic fairness grounds. And then they talk about the driver. A review of the Department of Labor H-2B visa certifications found that more than 100 granted to commercial truck drivers in the spanning 3 months of this year. Other truck driving titles like semi-truck driver or over the road similarly only had a few applicants and certifications. Compared that to the 60,000 non-domiciled CDLs uncovered in the review of the 50 states out there. What about short-term B1 visas issued to drivers as they cross the border? In May, that has issued 130,000 border crossing cards, which is how the State Department refers to the B1 visa out there. As of Friday morning, those cards are still flowing. California, where Singh got his CDL, does not require applicants to produce any type of visa to apply for a license. California requires an I-94 form and an employer authorization document, which is also not a visa. Typically, it's the employers who apply for the visas for the workers. Many non-domiciled CDL holders may have entered the country without a visa, potentially illegally, and gotten their CDL from any of the 43 states that do issue CDLs to non-citizens with temporary work authorizations. Overdrive contacted a trucking company that had applied and certified 44 visa rolls. The fleet owner said 44 of the drivers were Mexican CDLs with Mexican citizens with Mexican CDLs working for a paving company in the Great Plains regions. There are no drivers around here. The fleet owner said nobody wants to work. It's pretty standard response out there. It seems that fleet owner said maybe 80% of the fleets out there. Let me see here. CDL licensing actually happens at a state level, and a visa issuance is at the federal level. So the Fed's pausing a few visa classes for employers won't stop states from issuing non-domiciled CDLs. So again, when we're celebrating the tweet out there that they're pausing it at the federal level, doesn't stop states from actually issuing it. Okay. So we got to look at that. Was that a victory, or was it just a political talking point that is out there that's going to completely overlook the core issue, which is the government, the FMCSA and the DOT specifically not doing their job? And hold on a second here. And then Singh himself was ruled by a judge to have entered the U.S. illegally, before claiming asylum. And then the number of asylum seekers that are out there. And hold on a sec here. Sorry, my computer just updated. The number of asylum seekers in the U.S. has risen rapidly in the last few years. We can all say why. We don't need to speak about that on the show. But again, so to summarize this article, and this was the one that and this is why I think it is one of the best written articles about this topic in particular, is again, the states don't have to stop issuing the CDL, right? And the next article that Alex wrote about this, and again, you guys, I will put the links to these articles for you in the show notes if you guys want to check them out. Here, I'm going to drop this in the chat. I think the chat only comes through on YouTube, you guys. So if you want to check it out over there, that's the first article. And then the second article that we're going to break down here, talking about this in particular. And again, this is the following the party state lines. Those are in the YouTube chat right now. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll put them in the iTunes and Spotify show notes later on. But again, this is talking about the DOT blast the New Mexico police as dishonest in dispute over Harjinder Singh's English test. So it came about that this driver was given a DOT inspection in the state of New Mexico. And again, if you don't know politics at all, you guys, New Mexico is very, very blue. Okay. Just like some of these other states, and why I said this is going to follow party lines out here on the ELP, where a lot of these guys are celebrating like all of this shit's going to happen, but it's going to follow party lines. And all this is going to do is change somebody from getting their CDL in, say, red Arizona to go over to blue New Mexico or blue California and stuff like that. So anyways, the DOT investigation boiled over in heated dispute on August 19th, calling out the despicable failures at the state level in California and Washington that allowed him to get his CDL, and then New Mexico for not putting him out of service. If states had followed the rules, this driver would have not been behind the wheel. And let me see, non-enforcement and radical immigration policies have turned the trucking industry into a lawless frontier. I think that, again, Sean Duffy, because this was your statement, you could put an end to this in your term and actually do something about it. Okay. It's been a somewhat lawless frontier for a while now. And, again, we could do an entire separate show on how there's companies out there that will delete e-logs and everything else out there. And there's a bunch of shit that's going on, Sean. So we could focus on this, or you guys could peel back the layers a little bit further if you guys really wanted to. And on July 3rd of this year, state police conducted a roadside inspection and issued the driver of the fatal Ford crash a speeding ticket. It found no indication that an ELP assessment was administered. The DOT's release further called out for not enforcing ELP as an out-of-service condition, despite being put into requirement by June 25th of 2025, i.e., states are going to have to choose to do this, you guys. And asked directly, a New Mexico Department of Public Safety spokesperson said Overdrive, it conducted a thorough review of the traffic stop, and then the officer and driver were able to successfully communicate through the course of a level 2 roadside inspection, a walk-around driver and vehicle inspection, and then the DOT investigation after the crash, on the other hand, said that he failed English, and then he failed the FMCSA's own assessment of the everything after the crash, and then he only answered 2 of 12 possible questions correct out there, and he was only able to accurately identify 1 of 4 traffic signs. And New Mexico DPS said it will be enforcing the ELP in accordance with federal regulations, but as of August 22nd, no drivers have been placed out of service out there. And and then it goes on to say, how can a driver pass it in one state and not the other? And then the DOT is blaming New Mexico. And again, this is where politics comes in here, you guys, and that's all that they're going to do. And again, this second article is a very good breakdown of my honest assessment on where all of this is going to go. So I truly think that, again, Duffy, Rubio, current administration, although they didn't cause any of this stuff, because, like, let's be honest, they've been in office for 7 months. Anybody who's been in this industry for a very long time understands that where we're at is just a decades-long failure of not really looking into some of these things and not actually doing their job. And again, if you guys just want to question the competency of the FMCSA, just look up the amount of MCs in Sheridan, Wyoming, as one of the just absolute failures that goes on in there. So I think what I would love to see come about all of this, most importantly, I would love the Secretary Duffy and the Department of Transportation to come out and say, like, hey, this is an absolute dumpster fire of an organization of the United States government. We are going to work on fixing this. And again, talk is cheap, you guys. I'm so sick and tired of the tweets and the flip-flopping and everything else that goes on out there. And again, just like the blatant misrepresentation of the fundamental failures that go on in the CDL schools, the people who are issuing the CDLs at the DMV, and then the trucking companies that are hiring these individuals who cannot pass any basic information, any basic ELP stuff. So it's like, I look at this as this is not going to, this isn't going to stop. And I, unfortunately, these lives that were lost in Florida and the 5,297 that were lost in 2024 reported is going to continue to happen until they actually enforce the law and they make sure the states enforce the law that comes down to it. Because again, when it boils down to it, whether it's a visa or anything else that's going on, as long as they're following the rules, I don't care. All right. The majority of the hardworking men and women that we work with and contract with as a freight broker to haul our freight, top tier individuals, want to work hard. And I look at this is there is a subset of every industry that doesn't follow the rules. And they have an opportunity to utilize technology now to like actually advance their efforts and stuff. And I think that maybe we should stop having more discovery meetings at the FMCSA and actually do something to enforce this, because yeah, you can just walk in and just hand somebody, I'm assuming, I don't break the law, so I wouldn't know. I'm assuming you could probably just walk in and pay off a guy at the DMV a couple $100 every single time and just have them print fake CDLs. That would, you know, or not fake, but like a real CDL. I'm sure that that's just probably what's going on. So if I was in the FMCSA or the DOT, I would do a thorough review of who's issuing these CDLs, whether it's the school, whether it's the DMV, and I would start there. And then I would even go as far as making everybody retake the the CDL. Like, I just want to see everybody held to the exact same standards. I want to see all these loopholes closed in any potential way for individuals to come in and possibly break the law. Because just because an individual out there doesn't look like I do, does not make them unqualified to drive a truck. It does not make them unqualified to be here because they have a visa and everything else. And you can hate me for saying that. I frankly don't give a shit. But the facts are the facts, you guys. There is a system and a structure that I, as a taxpayer and business owner, have to follow. I just want to see everybody have to follow that exact same thing. And I want to see our government actually do their job instead of pointing the fingers in every other direction, as opposed to saying, damn, this is a really shitty situation. We're going to do something about this, and we're going to do something about this quick. All right. Tweets are cheap. Talk is cheap. Flip-flopping is cheap. We need actual results here. And again, when we're talking about the visas, you guys, if we're looking at 1% of the trucks on the road, ultimately, you guys, that doesn't do anything for the current freight, the state of the freight economy out there and the freight opportunities. And then furthermore, for those who are saying that foreign drivers are the problem, I hate to break it to you, they're not responsible for your business failing. You are, as a business owner. You fucking signed up to do this. All right. I can't control the freight market. I can't control interest rates. I can't control anything, but I can control what I do inside of my operation. And it's not fair. Life's not fair. The fact that there's grown adults out there who are crying about this in the sense of like, it's not fair. They're the ones who are, no, you got to be fucking kidding me. Have some accountability for your actions, but most importantly, stop reading just like tweets and headlines. Do your own research out here. Again, I will put all the links to all these articles out here, and you just literally, it takes, with AI, you guys, I'm not too proud to admit it. I literally used Grok and ChatGPT and got all the data and all the stuff that I needed for this episode in 3 minutes. 3 minutes, I was able to go in and they provide sources and everything. So you guys should do that too. Because at the end of the day, you guys, the only boogeyman is your inability as a leader and as a business owner to make changes and do your job. It's not anybody else's fault. It's your fault. As somebody who's almost 40 years old, it's the greatest life lesson I can tell everybody. Your life and your business and everything is on your shoulders. It's your fault. If you want things to improve, you have to improve, to summarize it like that. But that's going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. As always, if you got value in what you heard, subscribe to the show, you guys. We got more guests coming on this week because at the end of the day, you guys, I want to talk about how we can go out there and get better in our business and everything else. And that's why I don't like talking politics on this show all that often, because there's just so much blatant ignorance that is spewed out there all over the internet, and it just gets people all fired up. I'm going to go back to doing what I do, and this is going to be focusing on the core fundamentals of how we can get better as an industry and those practices that you can apply to your business. So rank the show out there as well, you guys. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.